All right. Welcome to the number 6 of the Santa Clara Regionals. Freaking top 8 Santa Clara Regionals Sacred Beast Psychic Deck Profile. Disclaimer, I got 6 out of 16 people. 31 people signed up for the Genesys Regionals. 17 people showed up. And then that 17th person dropped, but it was still counted as like a 32-man tournament. So we had 5 rounds of Swiss. So we had top 8. We got into the bracket for top 8. So basically half of us got top 8. But anyways, besides the fact, still top 8. So I'll do a deck profile because this deck is funny and I like it. It is Sacred Beast Psychic Slot. And we'll go through the Sacred Beast part of the deck first. So we have the fusion, the one of the fusion. So you need this to get the guy out, and it's a target negate. So this helps you stop potential board breakers. This came up a lot, the target negate, so very useful. Then we have 2 of the field spell, because 3 is bricky, but actually, in my matches, I actually ran out a lot of times. Like, they popped the first one, and then I go to the second one, and my second one would get removed, and then I'd have none for the crackback. So it would go to turn 3, and I would have no field spell anymore, and I'd kind of just lose the game. So, 3 might be good, potentially. See, the better way to do it is to play Skull Archfiend and just put it back into your deck and have infinite recursion. But, that's a whole different story. So, potentially 3 could work in this deck, but I'm running 2 because 3 seems bricky to me. This 1-card Sharder, search 3 Sacred Beasts, discard 2, freaking broken and crazy card. I'm only running 2 because I only have 2, but I would definitely put a third one in here. This card is actually insane, and it synergizes super well with the psychic part of the deck, potentially. So this is amazingly broken, very crazy card, just does everything that this deck needs, just absolutely crazy. And then we have Thunderclaps, just 1-card Sharder for Sacred Beast. And we have Martyr, which also uses your normal summon, 1-card Sharder. You can get it off the field spell, which I end up doing a lot, which helps me extend if I use my 1-card Sharder on the psychic part of the deck. Right, if I had to use my normal summon for the psychic part, then I would just get it off with the field spell, and it would go into the... It basically goes into full combo. So, 3 copies of another 1-card Sharder, 1-card Sharder here. You have 1 of the Summoner of the Sacred Beast. This is just, pitch, get a body, or if you get this in your hand, get another body, and get 2 bodies. It's just good to search off of. I actually found myself running out of cards in my deck because of the other part of my deck, which we'll get to. But this card's just a good free body if you can pitch it off anything, which typically you'll be pitching it off the Sacred Beast release, right? So this, basically, if you open this or get this in any way, this is going to the graveyard usually if you didn't open it. So very powerful. You have 1 of the Uriah to search the very important trap. So basically, you need to get into this to get to this. So if you don't have a way to search this, you aren't getting the trap, which definitely weakens your end board. So you definitely want to see this or get to this somehow, which is usually through this broken card, right? And then 3 of Raviel, which searches any Sacred Beast monster, which is also 1-card Sharder. If you don't open the Sacred Beast release, you basically go Raviel into the one that searches spell, Hamon. So Raviel, you discard something. You get Hamon, you search this, discard something else. You just activate release, get all your 1-card Sharder shenanigans. You usually get this, and then something like this, and then maybe pitch this one and something else in your hand, or if you already have this one in your field, maybe you just search another one of the big boys and just put one in grave. So there's that. This is basically one card charter, 6 copies of a 1 card charter, right? All of these just lead into this, which enables your entire game plan. So that's Sacred Beast. I actually had a punk package instead of this, but punks are too balanced and are more pointed than this pile of Sacred Beast, right? Genesys not pointing the modern cards is insane. Can you believe that the punk engine costs more than this pile and is like 50% weaker? So, you know, it is what it is. I had to cut my favorite archetype to get some wins. If I was playing punk psychics, I definitely would have lost. But fortunately, this package synergizes somewhat with the other package I'm about to show, which is the fun part of the deck. This part of the deck it's neat and interesting, but I don't really care about it. But you know, it's very powerful. So to get myself some wins, I contributed 50% of my soul to the demons of Yu-Gi-Oh. So here's the fun part of the deck. All right, let me go through the points. By the way, this is what 2 points. 2 points. 12 points, Sacred Beast. It's not like that for the new points list because this is a dead format already. But this was the entire points list for Sacred Beast, along with what's in my side deck here, which with these being 1 point. So 15 points total. Big whoop, you know. Punks are already at 35 points just inherently with Foxy Tune, or 36 points. But yeah, yikes. Let's not get into the point system of Genesys. If I were to do the point system, I would be putting points on so many things. But that's besides the point. We got our goat here, 1 point Mind Master. This is the non-once per turn part of my deck. Everything here in this pile of cards is non-once per turn, and this is the spicy part. So I got my Mind Master, which lets me get my entire deck. It basically, the psychic part of my deck thins so much, and it's just 1 card charter enabled, and loops so many times that they basically have to stop this or I go infinite. Theoretically infinite was what I'm about to show you. So you got Mind Master, and we got 3 copies of Psychic Rover. Now, if you guys never read this card has the effect to 2/3 chance revive itself when it's sent to the graveyard from anywhere, right? So when it's sent to the graveyard, you roll a dice. If you hit 2 through 5, it comes back. 1 through 6, it does nothing. It just stays in the graveyard. And then when it hits the field, if you roll a 1 or 6, it has pop 2 non-targeting. And it does this all non-once per turn, right? So what is the drawback of this card? Well, you can't use your extra deck, which I don't care about for this particular deck of Sacred Beast because I don't go into rank 10s or basically any extra deck monster with the Sacred Beast pile, right? So I use this. I basically Mind Master all my Psychic Rovers out. And if they come back to the field in that 2/3 chance, I basically get 2 bodies off Mind Master. And then I can tribute another one to get this one. And then this one comes back 2/3 chance. And then if you can see where I'm going with this, I have basically infinite fodder for Fallen of Paradise. So Fallen of Paradise, I have to send 3 of the same type to bring back a Sacred Beast from anywhere. So if I have Psychic Rover in my hand, the field, right, I just use these guys, and they all trigger after I resolve the field spell. So I can bring back, I don't know, a Uriah, and then I go chain 1, chain 2, chain 3, 2/3 chance, 2/3 chance, 2/3 chance, right? And I basically get infinite material to use. Even if 2 of them or 1 of them come back, it's still free material, right? It gives me free bodies to send off Fallen of Paradise. And then it also, Fallen of Paradise also frees my board from the lock. So this only prevents me from going to the extra deck while it's face up in the monster zone. And normally, you have no way of getting rid of this card without, you know, doing some shenanigans. But the Mind Master and the field spell both let me get rid of these things whenever I need to get rid of them, which makes this deck so potentially funny, right? So normally I would go, okay, I have Psychic Rover on the field, I can't go to extra deck. Okay, I'm just gonna Mind Master Tribute, summon the next part of my psychic package, the once per turn part, Serene Psychic Girl, right? And these are tuners, or my Mind Procedure, right? All of these cards here, these are one card starters for the psychic package, right? I can go Serene Psychic Girl into Mind Procedure search E-Telly get Mind Master, or if I already have E-Telly in my hand, I can get E-Telly back and, get more extension with this. Or I can go Serene Psychic Girl Mind Master, do first if I feel like they don't have any interruption, and just go Mind Master Tribute, bring Mind Procedure, Tribute, bring my Psychic Rovers out. It all goes into each other here. So, in Psychic Package, if I don't draw into it, I just play Sacred Beast. But if I do draw into it, I get material for my Sacred Beast. And I can go into the extra deck, potentially, which I'll show later. I'm also running 3 copies, also not once per turn, of Dungeon Dice and Dimension Dice. So, the theory here with these cards is that if I lose the die roll and I go second, I can have these to potentially break boards with Psychic Rover, right? With a 1/6 chance, 2/3 chance revive. But this is a bad call. Unfortunately, there's so much protection on these boards nowadays. With Rolad being splashed into everything, my matchups I went into were basically decks I couldn't play into with this idea for board breaking, or it was Blitzkrieg, which doesn't care about this card, right? Blitzkrieg doesn't care about Psychic Rover. So maybe in a different metagame, Psychic Rover as a potential board breaker with Dimension Dice and Dice Dungeon would be good. But in this current meta, right now, I think in Genesys, I would cut these out, right? I would cut these 6 cards out because they were not doing me any work. So maybe these can be replaced with some better interruption, maybe like something in my side deck called No Material. I think I would replace these. But yeah, theoretically, in a metagame where things don't have that much protection, like freaking Black Chaos of Destruction protecting all the back row and itself, or even Hero, their first turn, they're just trying to summon the Super Neos that prevents you from activating effects. So it doesn't matter. I can't even go use this, right? So my first matchup was against, Illusion Slop, and with the Rolad package, so the end board was always, he would pitch Summon Skull from the Fleeting Master. It's the level 8 Illusion monster that pitches a Fiend, Illusion, or Zombie or something from deck to graveyard on summon, and it summons itself by banishing a spell from graveyard. That was his bridge into Rolad, and yeah, this does nothing to that end board. And it was also the illusion stuff with the Chimeras have a lot of resurrection, so this also does nothing to that end board. This just doesn't play well into current meta right now, so I would definitely cut these 3. This works well for my own combo for infinite material 2/3 to the end chance, but trying to break boards with this is not it. Maybe in a different meta. So there's that. And then I ran 3 main deck 3 Hecahands Godos. I feel like this hand trap's really good right now. It gives you a free, not into Blitzkrieg, but into the other decks it's really good. This really kills E-Hero very badly, right? If the hero player is trying to get into Cosmo Neos, you just summon, they always search, right? Hero is always going to search. So you just have this, and it can't be destroyed by battle, which is really nice. So they can't go battle phase and then main phase 2, beat over this. And if they are going to use a fusion to out this, then it's going to be harder to get into that Elemental Hero Neos line, or the Cosmic Neos line. So this card is super good. Not into Blitzkrieg, which is the best deck right now, but it is good into the other decks. And also it's a level 7 body that gets you another body, potentially for easy tuner access for levels. So this is really good right now. I am really a big fan of Godos, not into Blitzkrieg, but into the other decks. I really enjoy this card. This card's really good. And then I have the 1 teleport fusion. So, with the extra deck, I feel like for the 6 cards that I would replace here, I would potentially add maybe something like Ultimate Slayer or something that pitches from my extra deck so I can get fodder to use this off rip going second if I lose the die roll. Because I actually think that, well, the targets for this is the Ultimate Axon Kicker, which is right here. And this fusion, banish all face-up cards your opponent controls is very good. It still gets blocked, unfortunately, by Black Chaos Magician Ritual card, but this is way better removal in the current meta than the Psychic Rover for going second. So I actually think that if I would replace this potentially with something like Heavy Polymerization. I'll heavy poly summon, the Chaotic Phantom Sacred Beast with like maybe some 3 level 10 synchros with, low enough attack so it doesn't so I don't kill myself, right? And it had to be under 2,000 so I can pay 2,000 to summon this. But I would actually have to pay a lot less life points if I'm using heavy poly for this, because I pay a lot of life points with that psychic stuff. But yeah, I potentially think that if I could pitch some synchro monsters into grave just inherently through something of these 6 cards that I'm replacing, then I can get into Axon Kicker turn 2 going second as potential removal. I think that would be really nice. So Teleport Fusion, I was using it as going first and unbreakable end board, and it worked very well. This, ending on Teleport Fusion with 2 synchros in grave or on field and grave, just on top of dealing with the Sacred Beast stuff, it's hard to break. The E-Hero player broke my board and almost killed me, but I had the trap card, that Books of Moon, the Sacred Beast trap card. This was game 3 when I was siding for going first. And that was enough for him not to kill me. So I flipped his card face down when he was attacking for game. I was on 400 life points because I paid so many life points to do my psychic loop. So E-Hero, so many pushes. That deck has insane amount of pushes. It's crazy. But this Teleport Fusion, definitely on top of the Sacred Beast unbreakable board, you have Teleport Fusion just absolutely cooking people and giving you follow-up on the extra deck, which we're about to show. And then I have Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, 2 copies as my 2 4-pointers. So E-Tally is 35 points, so this took up a lot of points in my deck, and I think it's worth putting. E-Tally is just insanely broken as an extender and a starter. And then I have 8 points in Ghost Ogre. This actually never came up. Ghost Ogre didn't really do anything. So with the new points adjustments, I'm probably going to take out... I might take out these 8 Ghost Ogres and replace them with some other level 3 psychic monster. I'm still thinking about what I would replace it with, but Ghost Ogre did not come up at all. Did not. Like, if I'm going to make my end board with the Sacred Beast stuff, I can tack on top of the Teleport Fusion, I can also add Ghost Ogre, but do I really need the 8 interaction? I don't think I do, in my opinion. And for going second into their going first play, I don't think 1 Ghost Ogre is enough to stop their board, right? I put this in potentially for Blitzclick, because, they break a lot, and if you Ghost Ogre their field spell, they kind of have to pass, but they could still play on your turn either way. It's just they need the field spell for playing on their own turn, which is why this is here. But, I guess maybe if the Genesys regionals had more players, this would come up more, but they didn't, so this never came up. So, if Blitzclick got pointed a little more, maybe it's not as popular. But outside of Blitzclick, I don't think this card was doing me any good. So I will probably cut this to make up for the points increase for the Sacred Beast cards. So there's that. So that's the main deck. All the main deck cards. We go side deck now. Lullaby Obedience, I kind of cheated with this card. I thought I got to choose where the card goes, But no, it's my opponent chooses. But, you know, either way, that's still okay. I can appreciate the body, and if they give it to my hand, I'm probably targeting, like, a crucial card in their deck. For Blitzclick, I was getting, what? I think I was getting... The best targets are, like, Thunderclap Monk, the Kaiju, or Crackle. I think those are the 3 best targets. So if I'm going first and I think about my board, I'm like, okay, I don't want them to Kaiju my board. I can just call the Kaiju, and they can give it to me as, what, a level 10 or 11 body, or 9 body. I don't the Thunder Kaiju is pretty high level, I think, and I'll just have it as a body. Or they can give me the Thunderclap Monk. I can go Thunderclap Monk, use Thunderclap Monk as my normal summon to insulate my board, and just use the non-normal summon stuff to try to play the game, which I think is really good as well. Or I can just get the Crackle as, you know, take away one of their starters for their deck, right? To be less annoying, so they don't draw into it, because they're playing a lot of the draw stuff. So, and it pays me life points, which helps me get into Pep OTK, so that's nice. So I thought this is pretty good. I think this is a pretty good card for siding in. And then I have Abyss of the Sacred Beast. It's also just furthering my FTK board, right? Making it so that they can't play the game, because that's what Yu-Gi-Oh is all about. So if I know I'm going second, or if I know I'm going first, so if I win the die roll, I play my Nord deck, and then I usually scoop going second, because this is FTK meta, so there's not enough time in Yu-Gi-Oh to let my opponent play the game. So I look at my hand, and if I can't, there's not enough engine in my hand to break the board, I scoop immediately, so I have time to play the third game. So on the third game, I would side these in to make the 9 interaction FTK board. So this is a pretty good card. It also helps me extend if I need to get more bodies to send 3 of the same thing. Usually I don't, though, because I have the infinite Psychic Rover shenanigans, so I like to keep this for the Book of Moon. Yes. Pretty good. And then I had this, which never came up. So this is idea like, oh, if they play a deck that, you know, spams too many things, I can get You're Finished and use You're Finished as a board wipe, but it never came up. I'd probably replace this for Twin Twister, just 3 copies of Twin Twister. But I like this card. I like the art and the theming of the effect and everything. So this is just probably one of my favorite card archetypes. I like to see her reprinted as a normal monster. I know if you watch my previous video, I'm like, oh, I hate waifus and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, she's cool. Exception. She's cool. And then 3 Hey Trunade. So this helps me break the Rolad splashes that people have been doing with the Black Magician Chaos. And this is actually really good. So I think I don't know. I feel like this card deserves a little bit of points, but for the decks that have back row that set a lot of cards, this card is definitely good, and it bypasses the Rolad protection. So I highly recommend. This has been very good to the matchups that it plays well into. So highly recommend Hey Trunade as a good card. I might also play Spiritualism, which is only 1 card, but your opponent can't negate it with anything. It's spell speed 4, basically, where your opponent cannot... No cards can be activated in response to the activation of Spiritualism. So that might be another card I will consider picking up for the side deck. And then I have No Material, which I actually think is really good. Not into Blitzclick, but into other decks. I actually think if I had drawn this card when I sided it in for the matchups that I played, I think it would have killed their turn. So I think this No Material has a lot of potential as a side deck card with hand trap with no points. So yeah, I think this is very good. Very good. I think this can kill a lot of decks. And then I have the 1 extra Uriah. Actually, I'm not sure why I put 1 extra Uriah. I was thinking that I might need a little more consistency hard drawing it, because if I hard draw the Uriah, I don't have to search it with the Sacred Beast released or anything. I could just I can go for a better half board if I open the Uriah, right? Then I don't have to do as many insane shenanigans to get enough material if I just open this card. So that was the idea in this, but it never came up, so I never cited this in. So I potentially just add another gnome material instead of the Uriah. So there's that. And then for the extra deck, you got Punk Jam Dragon. This is 15 points, so it's taking up my points. And then this would help me search the Ghost Ogre, which I potentially won't do anymore because Ghost Ogre doesn't really come up except against Blitzclick, which hopefully will be out of meta. Maybe, probably not. I don't think it got pointed enough, but it did get more points, so it's not as good. And then Punk Dragon Drive going into Punk Jam Fever is just broken. Free Monster Negate insulates the board if you can go into it first. So that is good. This by itself is just good, right? It cheats the Monster Negate and it negates things in hand as well. So the problem with this deck, I've noticed, is that it lets the opponent play the game. You know, oh, Yu-Gi-Oh! Letting the opponent play the game when they shouldn't be playing the game. Well, this makes it so that they play the game less, which is good, unfortunately, for not playing the game, which is how you win in Yu-Gi-Oh!, which makes Yu-Gi-Oh! Bad, unfortunately. But this is good in the bad Yu-Gi-Oh! That we're playing. So, very good. This came up a lot. The Monster Negate killed a lot of decks that I was playing, of course, after winning the die roll and going first. So this got very good, very good. This searches the Teleport Fusion, which makes your board even more unbreakable. So very good. This gets you the material for Teleport Fusion for free because it revives the dude and then you can go into whatever you want. So the other targets after I would revive a dude would be like Cyframe Omega, Cyframe Omnibuster, and Blaster MK. So usually I would either go, these two did not come up, but I potentially, when I was playing in hindsight, I could have ended on just a Psychic Omnibuster. I think this card might actually be really good into Blitzclick, but you know, I'm a little iffy on it. I'd actually have to play it. But in my mind, in hindsight, I thought about ending on a Psychic Omnibuster instead of paying all my life points to do the other shenanigans I was doing. Maybe I could just end on a Psychic Omnibuster and pay 6k to rip a card out of their hand every turn, like on their turn, right, until the end phase, and then just kill them next turn. But, you know, there was a mind here on the potential of this card. This is questionable. But usually I was just going into Psychic Blaster MK, which is just a target, banish, and gain some life points. So this is pretty good. And it gives me enough life points to go into Teleport Fusion. But in this non-psychic focused deck, it's hard to get into these three. Like you can get to it, but the line involves a lot more Mind Master shenanigans, and the life points gets really tight. So in this deck, if you're doing the Psychic Rover, Mind Master loop shenanigans, your life points get really tight. Like I'm ending my turn with usually 800, 400, 600 life points. Like every turn, like every time I go first and I make my end board, that's how many life points I usually have. So if the opponent plays like Hinotama for some random reason, or some random burn can just straight up kill you, if they do the burn after they force your trap out. The trap is the only target negate for spell or traps, other than the Uriah for continuous spells or field spells. So if they just have a hard spell that does burn damage, you just lose, right? In the Psychic deck. Psychics always had this problem, so unfortunately it is what it is. But this is a nice Psychic package that you can go to whenever you want. Frame Lord Zeta, it doesn't really synergize well, but I didn't know of another 7 to put, so I just kind of put this randomly. It could come up, but I think I would change this for something else. This one, Potential Man, Crossmine Archfiend. I think this is basically, if I'm going to this, I'm trying to get into Pep. So this is my Pep line for going to level 8, level 3, revive a level 3, make Pep go for OTK. So Pep OTK always in a Psychic deck, you're burning all your life points, you're going down to, you know, under 500, under 1,000 life points, and if you attack anything with under 2500 attack, you win the game, right? So that's there. So that's good. And then for the fusion targets, I have the Solemn Summon Destruction, which I never went to. I usually went to Axon Kicker to banish the field, all face-up cards on the field. And it actually came up, the Mutant Ultimates came up, where it was turn 3. That E-Hero almost killed me, and I had to go to turn 3. Turn 3, I barely had it. We were going to time. It was like 2 minutes left on the clock. This is the game where 25 minutes, he tried to break my board going first. When I went first, I won the die roll. And we spent like 20-30 minutes on game 1 where I make my end board. And Heroes has so many pushes. So he tried to push but couldn't quite get the push game 1. So I ended up winning, but it took me 30 minutes. Game 2, I know it's Cosmic Neo swap. So I look at my hand. My hand is basically, there's no interaction in my hand, so I auto scoop, right? I look at my hand and I say, go next. So we go game 3 immediately. So game 2 takes like 1 minute. We shuffle, side deck shuffle. And so we start game 3 with, what? I think it's 17 minutes, 16 minutes. So this game 3 goes down to the wire. Like there's 1 minute left, and I don't have that much material left because he broke my board. He broke my board, almost killed me. So I'm basically left with just the end phase monster because he banished my continuous spell, the Sacred Beast continuous spell with a DD Crow or something. So I only had that, and that was I still had the field spell up, I think. I could bring the field spell with the monster, so I had some plays. But he had the Elemental Heroes Neos with the Battle Trap effect in hand to protect, or on direct attack to summon and negate the attack, right? And if this gone to time, we would have double lost. So I had no straight up negate for that, and I was thinking, oh, how do I stop him from negating my attack and going for game? Because we're about to go to double loss. And I remember that this has a graveyard effect. During the turn that is not sent to the graveyard, you can banish this to cheat out any level 10 fusion monster. You're going to treat it as a fusion monster. So you banish this, especially on a level 10 fusion monster. And fortunately, this came up where is it? I just had it. It's somewhere. Oh, it's right here. I found this in the bulk of the local card shop I was going to, and I remembered that, oh yeah, you can make this level 10 Psychic Synchro. These are basically the only level 10 Psychic Synchros. There's very few. And then on top of the other version of this guy, this is the retrain of the original Axon Kicker or whatever. But there's very few level 10 Psychic Synchros. I saw this in the bulk, and I was like, oh yeah, I should just put this in, because this might come up. And it did come up. So I was able to bring this out, and then when he activated the Neos to protect his life points, I attributed this to negate and destroy, right? Negate and banish. Even better. So this came up very clutch. Very good. And then we have our, of course, 1 copy of Phantasmal Sacred Beast. I'm pretty sure you can only summon this once through Fusion Summon or Special Summon. Let me check the trap. I'm not sure how the trap interacts with this. Does it just say Fusion, Special Summon, Fusion? Yeah, so you basically only summon one of this. Theoretically, you could, it's not pointed, so I only have 13 cards in my extra deck. I can put 2 more copies of this, but they cost $3 each. So, and I was like, okay, I'll just get 1 copy. But in a deck that theoretically can banish from your deck, like the Invoke stuff, you want to run the 2 more, so they're forced to banish all 3 copies of this instead of targeting other stuff if they go first. But yeah, Invoked is just shenanigans, so I didn't worry about it. But there was an Invoke player, surprisingly. The Illusion slot player. He was playing Invoke, Summon Skull Archfiend. Not to say Illusion slot derogatory. Just it's just a pile of Illusion and Invoked and Summon Skull, small Rolad package. He ended up getting second in the regionals, I believe. And then I was fortunate, not to play against any Constellar players. I know Stevie, who was #1 in this regionals, was playing Constellar, Hand Trap. You know, don't play the game. But you know, congratulations to Stevie for winning. But yeah, this is my Psychic Rover Infinite Material Sacred Beast slop deck. It was very funny. I did enjoy rolling a lot of dice while I was doing my wombo. So, highly recommend, guys. Psychic Rover, highly recommend. This guy's the GOAT, dude. The GOAT of Yu-Gi-Oh! Top 10 Yu-Gi-Oh! Card of all time. You know what I'm saying? Look at him. Look at him. Rolling dice to save Yu-Gi-Oh! Alright. So that was the deck, and then here's the mat that I got. Not a big fan, so I'm probably going to sell this. Maybe I might keep it. This is my first quote-unquote regional top clickbait. So, yeah, have fun. I highly recommend this deck. This deck is very fun.